If you have implemented scheduling or timesheets, then you will need to set up pay types. Pay types are the mechanism for inputting non-billable time and possibly billable time on the timesheets. If you are processing payroll through OnTarget, then the pay type setup becomes even more critical, as they will represent the various ways in which an employee gets paid. To create pay types, go to Configure, List Configuration, Employees, and Business Pay Types. After hitting Add Business Pay Type, enter in a description that best defines the pay type. This is what users will see when selecting pay types to enter their time. Next, select the pay type setting. These settings will determine how the time is entered and calculated. For example, when hourly is selected, then a start time and end time must be entered. But when mileage is selected, there is no start time and end time to be entered. Rather, units are entered in order to capture the number of miles traveled. To illustrate this, let's look at the timesheet. When an hourly pay type is selected that's configured with the hourly setting, then start time and end time must be entered in order for the system to be able to calculate the number of hours for the day. But when mileage is selected, the start time and end time fields are disabled and the units will capture the number of miles to be reimbursed. And likewise, when a reimbursement pay type is selected, the only field that's enabled is the amount field. This is so the amount to be reimbursed can be entered. Please review each pay type and the corresponding description to know how to set up accordingly. Check the Pay Overtime box for each pay type that is eligible for overtime. And finally, you have the ability to control which pay types you would like to allow timesheet users to be able to enter time against. This control is typically useful when the notes are the source of the billable time on the timesheets, and therefore no billable time should be manually keyed. When this box is not checked, the pay type will not show up in the drop-down, thereby preventing any time from being keyed. As mentioned in the beginning, the pay types are configured in such a way so that the employee's time is accurately reflected for payroll purposes. However, if neither timesheets nor payroll are being used and the pay types are only needed for schedules, then the setup can be more flexible and perhaps more descriptive in regards to how non-billable time is captured on the schedule. Unavailable is a good example. Once the pay types have been configured, then you will need to add the corresponding pay types to each employee. This occurs under the employee's desktop in the employee record. Once the employee record is open, go to the Pay Types tab. Add each pay type that is specific to the employee, including the cost center. The client field is optional and only necessary when you wish to report wage expenses per client. The same goes for the service field. However, if you are using OnTarget to process your payroll, it is critical to tie each pay type to the corresponding service. This is how the system knows what hours to import under each pay type. Should you have any questions, please contact our support department by going to Options, Support, and Contact Support.